Yes lads, welcome back to another video. It's Thursday, happy St. Patrick's Day. So yeah, I haven't got this video done yet right now. I'm going to edit it after I do this bit of videoing. So I was away at the weekend. I was at a Man United match in Manchester. First time in Old Trafford, Ronaldo scored a hat-trick. Was a great weekend away. But Aaron got some work done. I have actually no idea what it was. So when I go to edit this will be the first time I'll see it. So you're going to see it now. Make sure to like and subscribe, and then I'm going to show you the pit bike after Aaron's bit of work here, right?
Alright guys, today I am doing valve clearances on the Suzuki LTR. I'm going to show you how to do it and what steps I go through doing it. So we're going to just jump in this straight away. So I already recorded all this on my phone and then remembered that we have the camera for it. But more or less how a valve works, goes up and down. Whenever it's down, it sucks in fuel and air, your piston sucks in the fuel and air mix. And then whenever it's down, obviously it opens up that port there. And then what drives your valve is the cam. Your cam comes round, cam hits the bucket, pushes the valve down, opens it, spring pushes it back up. But this is what we're dealing with here. This is your cams, there and there. Well, that's the cam caps, but the cams are down below. What they are is like a lobe. So I'll try to show you here. I don't know if you can see it, but you can kind of see it there. They're like an oblong lobe, and they are what are responsible for opening and closing your valves. But whenever your quad is constantly running high revs and whatnot, your valves are going to wear into the valve seats. So you can imagine over time they're slowly moving up, and the more they move up, they're going to get tighter to the cam because they're wearing into the head. Now it's not a couple of mil here, we're talking 0.10 or 0.5 or 0.2 of a mil, like what they're moving. But more or less what you do, because you need a bit of clearance between the valve and the cam, or the bucket and the cam, to do with heat and whatnot, and so you're not pushing it the whole time. But what you do then, as your valve wears, you need to make the gap wider again. So there's a shim on top of the valve, it's inside the bucket. You need to make that smaller, brings it lower, brings it down. I'll show you whenever I have it out here, but it's kind of hard to explain, and I'm not the best person for explaining things. But you need to have your top dead center found on your flywheel. You just line up the T down there, and then the cams have a dot there, lines up with the top of the head, and a dot there, lines up with the top of the head. So I'm going to pull them out here and I'll show you how I get on. Oh, and the other thing I forgot to mention, I already measured. You use a feeler gauge and you measure between the cam and the bucket, just slide it in, and I measured them. The intakes are this one, that's more or less just the way I have them drawn is the way they are. So this one is more or less fully closed. I couldn't get my thinnest feeler gauge in. This one is 0.10, which is, it's inside the specs, but it's as tight as the specs give it. And the two exhaust valves are 0.15, which is out of the specs. I just put a bit of Tipex on one of the chain links and one of the teeth that it corresponds with, and the same over in that one up there. But if I don't let that chain drop or slacken, if I keep it tight the whole time, then them links just need to go on the same place again, more or less. And say if the marks rub off or whatever, you still have the dots anyways to line up, so you're not stuck. Took the tensioner out. This is the tensioner. So the way it works more or less on these is the spring pushes that out. It's like a wee ratchet, so I can pull it back with my finger obviously, but spring pushes it out and it can't go back in. It's actually a good design. Polaris is a bit different, but yeah. So I loosened all the cam cap bolts as well. I just loosened them with the ratchet first, and now I'm going to take them out with a gun. So this is more or less just winding them out for me. It's not, doesn't have to break them or anything. So now I'm going to pull out the cam caps, and just whenever you're taking these sort of things out, there's bearing stops underneath, and you don't really want to drop them down anywhere. So I'm going to use two hands for this, and I'll show you when I have them out. I'm going to get a magnet now and lift them out, and I'll show you the shims then. And see, for the timing chain, that hasn't moved from the bottom gear. I kept pressure on it the whole time, and then I just put a bungee cord up round, and that won't drop. Right, that's the buckets out, and that is one of the shims. Just a very small piece of metal. Whenever you have the buckets out, give your measurements in that order. So keep your buckets in that order, because if you mix them up, it's going to be, well, everything's going to be backwards. This here isn't too bad. The two exhausts are the same, so it wouldn't really matter, but I'm not going to mix them up anyways. Right, so I put in the new shims and put it all back together, put on the tensioner, turned it over about 15 or 20 times, let everything settle in kinda, remeasured them. These two are 0.20, which is where they need to be, and these two are 0.30, which is where they need to be as well. So I'm happy enough for that. Gonna throw the rest of it back together now and see how she goes. But regardless of if this doesn't make her run better, it still needed to be done, because that's just a factor that wouldn't help. So I'm gonna throw it back together here now, and we'll see how she goes. Right lads, that's it mostly back together now. I must just throw in the spark plug, the throttle position sensor, fuel pump, and what else? And the tank has to go on, and we'll see then what happens.
Right lads, so finally got the tube for the tyre. That is in there now. I had to go to Letterkenny to get that. Got it yesterday, and we got the tube back in. And then I just threw it together with Dad. He helped me just get on the back wheel again. There was a few bits that needed cut and kind of modified a bit, but the rest of it I threw back on. Alfie obviously likes the bike too. So it's looking well. It's nearly finished. We're not far away, so this is the first time that you'll see the plastics on it. Definitely looking nice. Exhaust back on. What do you think, Alfie? What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. So all we need to do now is wait on the air filter, which is coming, and maybe get a sponge thing here for the handlebars that matches the colours, because the other one's red and white. What else do we need to do? I think that's everything, just to get the air filter. Oh yeah, get the air filter and clean out the carb, and then we can get going again. So she's not far away. Also stickers, going to get some stickers on there. Alright, so I'm not sure where we're going to put them. Obviously just on the plastics. And I have a few down in the house. I have a Jakey Bros one that I'm going to put on this wing here that was damaged, so just cover that up. And then I have a few GoPro stickers that I'm going to put on the front here as well. But just going to kind of put a few on just so it's not so plain, right? Don't want to milk it either, just to make it a wee bit more kind of finished look. So let me know what you thought again in the comments. Comment down below what stickers we should put on, what brands, if you have any ideas. Otherwise, happy St. Patrick's Days. I'm gonna go get a Guinness now, because I've been craving one all day. This is like 4 or 5 o'clock in the day. I'm doing this here, but like, just so you can get a video. Alright, so like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.